Welcome back. In this lecture, we will discuss about a statistical inference method called interval estimation. As we know, in any statistical investigation, it is about generalizing from the information contained in random sample about the population from which the samples are drawn. And we can classify the statistical inference process into estimation of parameters and testing of hypothesis. And this estimation can be again classified into point estimate and interval estimate. Point estimate and interval estimate. And what is a point estimate? For any population parameter theta, suppose theta is any population parameter, and for this parameter theta, we are suggesting a single value from the random sample taken from this population. That single value is called a point estimate. For example, suppose we are estimating the population mean mu. And if you are suggesting a sample mean as an estimate of that population mean mu, that sample mean is called a point estimate. That will be a single value. In interval estimate, we are suggesting an interval within which this true population parameter lies with some pre-assigned probability, say 1 minus alpha. And this open interval AB is called the interval estimate for the parameter theta. And this interval will contain the true population parameter theta with the confidence level 1 minus alpha, or we are sure that this interval, open interval AB, will contain the true population parameter in 1 minus alpha into 100% confidence. So that interval is called a confidence interval for the population parameter theta. In interval estimation, we are trying to find out these parameters, that means these lower bound and upper bound, for which a true population parameter theta can lie with a pre-assigned probability 1 minus alpha. And this interval is called 1 minus alpha into 100% confidence interval for the population parameter theta. First, we will discuss about the construction of a confidence interval for the population parameter, population mean mu. From the sampling distribution of the sample mean, we know that the sample mean x bar is normally distributed, asymptotically normal, with the population mean mu and the standard deviation sigma by root n. Or if we standardize this into a variable, say z, then z is equal to x bar minus mu divided by sigma by root n follows standard normal distribution n01. And from this standard normal curve, from the standard normal curve, we are fixing two numbers, z alpha by 2 and minus z alpha by 2, so that these tail probabilities are alpha by 2 each. This is alpha by 2 and this tail probability is also alpha by 2. So the remaining portion, that means the unshaded portion, has probability 1 minus alpha. So we are looking for two numbers, minus z alpha by 2 and plus z alpha by 2, so that this standardized random variable can lie between these two numbers with the probability 1 minus alpha. So this can be written in statement as probability that minus z alpha by 2 less than this z, or x bar minus mu divided by sigma by root n less than z alpha by 2 is equal to 1 minus alpha. And using some algebra, we can simplify this expression so that the middle expression contain only mu and the lower bound and upper bound are calculated accordingly. That is, minus z alpha by 2 less than x bar minus mu divided by sigma by root n less than z alpha by 2 implies, on cross multiplication we get minus z alpha by 2 into sigma by root n less than x bar minus mu less than z alpha by 2 into sigma by root n. Suppose we are multiplying throughout by the negative sign, so that our aim is to make this mu as a positive quantity. So after multiplication, this becomes z alpha by 2 into sigma by root n. So multiplication by negative sign reverses the inequality. So this becomes minus x bar plus mu, that will be greater than minus z alpha by 2 into sigma by root n, or adding the term plus x bar, that means x bar plus z alpha by 2 into sigma by root n, z alpha by 2 into sigma by root n greater than this mu greater than x bar minus z alpha by 2 into sigma by root n. So we can first write the lower bound. X bar minus z alpha by 2 into sigma by root n less than mu less than x bar plus z alpha by 2 into sigma by root n. So we have constructed an interval within which this mu can lie with the lower bound as x bar minus z alpha by 2 into sigma by root n and upper bound as x bar plus z alpha by 2 into sigma by root n with the probability 1 minus alpha. So we are 1 minus alpha into 100% confidence that this interval, what is the interval? The interval with the lower bound x bar minus z alpha by 2 into sigma by root n, comma, upper bound x bar plus z alpha by 2 into sigma by root n. This open interval will contain the true population mean mu with the probability or with the confidence level. We can say the confidence level is 1 minus alpha into 100%. So these numbers x bar minus z alpha by 2 into sigma by root n and x bar plus z alpha by 2 into sigma by root n are called confidence limits. Now we can consider three different cases of construction of confidence interval. 1 minus alpha into 100% confidence interval, 1 minus alpha into 100% confidence interval for the population mean mu. See the case 1. Case 1 means the population standard deviation sigma is known and sample size is large. Large sample sigma known. For large sample sigma known, the confidence interval is x bar minus z alpha by 2 into sigma by root n and upper limit x bar plus z alpha by 2 into sigma by root n. Case 2. Large sample but sigma is unknown. For large sample with the sigma unknown, we can replace this sigma by the sample standard deviation S. So the confidence limits are, or confidence interval is x bar minus z alpha by 2 into S by root n. We are replacing population standard deviation by sample standard deviation. And x bar plus z alpha by 2 into S by root n. This is our case 2 and case 3. Small sample sigma unknown. For small sample, we know that the sampling distribution of the sample mean is not normal distribution, but it follows T distribution with the n-1 degrees of freedom. So instead of this z alpha by 2, we can have T alpha by 2. That is x bar minus T alpha by 2 into S by root n and upper limit x bar plus T alpha by 2 into S by root n. And the tabled numbers minus T alpha by 2 and plus T alpha by 2 are obtained from the T distribution table. So this tail probability is taken as alpha by 2. This is also alpha by 2 and this number is, this ordinate is plus T alpha by 2 and this is minus T alpha by 2. This is symmetric about T is equal to 0. And these two numbers T alpha by 2 and minus T alpha by 2 can be obtained from T distribution table corresponding to different degrees of freedom. Here degrees of freedom nu is equal to n-1. So these are three different 1 minus alpha into 100% confidence interval for the population mean mu. Large sample sigma non, large sample sigma unknown, and in both the cases we can have the standard normal distribution. And case 3 for small sample sigma unknown, here we cannot apply the standard normal distribution, so we are using T distribution with the tabled numbers T alpha by 2. S is the sample variance and N is the sample size. Now for the confidence interval, x bar minus z alpha by 2 into sigma by root 10 and x bar plus z alpha by 2 into sigma by root 10. What are the numbers we require? We have a sample of size n. From the sample, we can compute the sample mean. Population standard deviation, suppose this is known, or otherwise we can replace, if sample size is large, we can replace this sigma by sample standard deviation. Then the remaining number is z alpha by 2. And for normal distribution, this z alpha by 2 corresponds to the probability, tail probability alpha by 2. See, for the first case, suppose we are constructing a 90% confidence interval. Then from standard normal table, we can see that this number z alpha by 2 corresponds to 1.645. Let us see how this number is constructed. Suppose we are constructing a 90% confidence interval. For 90% confidence interval means 1 minus alpha into 100%. That is our 90%. So what is alpha? Alpha is equal to 10%. Okay, alpha is 10% or this is 0.1. When our alpha is 0.1, this tail probability becomes 0.05. This is 0.05. This tail probability is also 0.05. And we know that this standard normal distribution is symmetric about z is equal to 0. So this remaining area, that means 0 up to this z alpha by 2. So see, this is our z alpha by 2. This is minus z alpha by 2. So 0 up to this z alpha by 2, we have the probability or the total area 0.5 minus this 0.05. So we have 0.45. So from standard normal table, we can compute an ordinate z alpha by 2 so that if the integration is starting from 0, the total area is 0.45. From standard normal table, we can see that this ordinate must be 1.645. We can verify from standard normal table. So this number must be 1.645. Then only you can have the total area 0.45. So using that similar method, we can construct or we can find out the ordinate z alpha by 2 corresponds to different confidence levels. That is 90%. For 90% from standard normal table, z alpha by 2 is 1.645. For 95% it is 1.96 and 99% it is 2.576. So you have to remember all these z alpha by 2, or from the direct computation we can calculate the values of z alpha by 2 from standard normal table for large sample. And if it is small sample, the corresponding numbers are T alpha by 2, and that numbers also can be computed in a similar way from the student's T distribution table. So these are the different confidence interval for estimation of population parameter mu and sigma square. Thank you.